I have a question.
What's up?
Before we get started, did AJ Green just recommit to
The University of Arkansas?
Arkansas?
I think he
What? Okay, where are we seeing this?
Well, he just tweeted, and it's just like a picture of a hog and green. It's like the tape over his locker or something.
Dude, okay. Someone on the Discord like 2 or 3 days ago was like, hey, Arkansas is about to have a commitment from a former 4-star running back. And then someone was like, I think it's a former player. And I remember just being like, how funny would that be? And then I started thinking, is it Green or Augustov? And then I forgot about it. And then he freaking commits today.
Well, yeah, because he got hurt. Like, was it in spring or like early in fall camp? But he didn't play at all, right, at Oklahoma State. So he'd have that year. But maybe that just happened. I don't know. Like, we'll have to get more confirmation than his piece of tape on Twitter. But like, I don't know why else he would do that. Pause. I'm giving Richard a lot of credit here because I'm reading his story. So he is expected to be a walk-on. He is expected to play defensive back. So they didn't add to the running back room. He's moving to DB.
I beg your pardon?
Well, you remember, dude, this was a thing that people talked about a lot.
Yep,
that they wanted it to happen. And I honestly never thought that would be a thing.
Absolutely was. So there you go. Maybe that's his pathway to the NFL, just switching sides of the ball and getting weird with it. I like it, bro.
Now, hold on. Did he played DB in high school, or at least that was a thing, I feel like.
Wasn't that why he didn't go to Oklahoma or something? Because they wanted him to be a DB, or like I'd have to really go back into the archives, but he was. He was a two-way guy.
This conversation definitely didn't just come out of nowhere. Like the idea of him playing defensive back has been kind of a thing. But like I said, I kind of gave up on that because I remember when Arkansas had that season where they had all those DBs hurt and they didn't move AJ Green over. I was like, okay, if he's not going to play defensive back this year, he's never playing defensive back. But hey, now I'm very intrigued.
Walk on DB AJ Green. There you go.
What's that quote where it's like, you had my interest, but now you've got my curiosity or something like that? Or maybe vice versa.
Yeah, it's like, you had my interest, but now you have my curiosity. That's what I feel like too, because you got not only him returning, but then completely going to the other side of the ball, which we've talked about it, guys, with our portal talk. We've thought that the defensive backs in the secondary has done a really good job in the transfer portal. And if you were going to tell me, hey, would you rather right now have another running back or another defensive back? I'll be honest, I would have said running back. I would have been like, yeah, to get him back as a running back. But like you said, Curtis, maybe this is the pathway. Maybe this was part of the negotiation saying, okay, you can come back, but you got to be a defensive back. Or AJ Green's like, hey, I want to come back, but I want to be a defensive back. That's going to be the fascinating thing was this a mutual thing? Was it something that Arkansas wanted from him? Was it what he wanted from Arkansas? Like, how does that make sense, and what all transpired here?
Yeah, that's this is fascinating, man. So, I mean, 5'11", 205. It kind of sounds like a safety to me, but I would assume he'd be a corner. I don't know, man. This is cool. I'm really anxious to hear more about it, and hopefully some from him. But how about that, man? Just pulling the Jimmy Witt, and just running it back at the original spot. So.
I like this a lot. And maybe he's going to play the hog position, that nickel spot, and just be like a box safety. I really don't know. But like, it is interesting.
I'm excited about this more than any other potential walk-on addition they might be able to make.
Also, this is
the best walk-on Arkansas has had since Keon Minifield.
Hey, well, watch that, because I'm about to say, Arkansas just had a former walk-on defensive back in the secondary there, leading things as a leader in Hudson Clark. Did they just need to replace the walk-on veteran leadership, and that's why they bring in AJ Green? I like it.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
I'm excited for AJ Green because I don't care what anybody says. I'm putting him on him right now. He's on the Burlsworth Award watch list. Yeah, we're putting him on it right now. He's on the Brandon Burlsworth Award watch list to be the walk-on of the year.
But here's the question, John. Is he eligible for the Burlsworth? Because he did not begin his career as a walk-on, and that is the way the award works.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. Like, there's no rules when it comes to college football and what they do and don't do it anymore. But yeah, I think that is the rule, but still, yeah, that's craziness. And I always felt like with AJ Green too, when he was here, I was honestly surprised he didn't transfer out sooner than what he did, because he was here for what, 3 years at Arkansas, 21, 22, 23. And we know how the current climate is of college football. And if you're not playing, if you're not starting, then you'll just move somewhere else and go on with it. But, for him to come back, I always appreciated the way he handled things, I guess. And I guess under Sam Pittman's rules, he handled it the right way in the way he left, that he was, of course, able to come back. He just had to take a year sabbatical over in Stillwater. I'd want to leave after a year in Stillwater too. So good to see him back and adding it to
crazy,
the mix.
Man, just firing shots like that.
Yeah. Well, hey, after that regional that was there a few years ago, and then after this past year, I don't want to be in Stillwater anymore. It's not fun. It's too hot. But man,
there was nothing more deflating than us trying to start our live stream outside of Eskimo Joe's in Stillwater and just getting the Pistol Pete thing done to us a million times by Oklahoma State fans. That was brutal, man.
That was a bottom 5 moment of my existence, I would say, for sure. But I tell you, you know what else there is about AJ Green, and you got to remember, Sam Pittman really likes him. He always spoke very highly of him, and he would always do the track speed bit with AJ Green, where he'd be like, he ran that 10-2 in high school. I want to see that 10-2 out on the field. And he had a couple moments in the Liberty Bowl. He was a former Liberty Bowl standout. Him and R-Dub. That was probably like the coolest moment of his career. But so maybe that track speed will show up at corner, safety. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Maybe he plays all the positions. Maybe that's just wherever he fits. They'll do some cross training.
He's going to go to Cross Train University. Yeah,
and just get the best 5 out there every single time. I think it's cool. And also selfishly, this is just how my mind works sometimes. When it comes to spring football, people get interested in it a little bit but the main thing that drives interest in spring football is always, quarterback battles, which you don't have one of those, or new coaches, which you don't have those. So, what could it be? What could it end up being? I don't know. I think there'll be, not saying it's a huge deal, but there'll be some interest in people wanting to know, hey, how's AJ Green doing in the secondary? After being a guy who had, 600 yards rushing, I think it was his best year in 2021, something like that. But yeah. All right, cool. I wonder if he's going to wear 0 again.
That's a good question.
Because he was 0 last year on the defense.
Nico Davier was number 0.
It's open.
It's open, yeah. Exactly.
It's available. So, all right. Well, there you go. Cool. Some portal popping happening right there.
It's a way to start the show.
The walk-on aspect of this is also very much worth noting. Now, I was giving this bit thinking he was a running back, but the whole idea of it's not like it's costing you anything. It's not like this move where you're clearing a spot for a guy or you're dedicating a ton of NIL funds to a guy. You're bringing him in as a walk-on. It's if you can get anything out of him, cool. If not, it's not going to change the program. Kind of like he's the Monte Harrison of defense.
Yeah, man. I would just like to say, now that I have to retract what I was saying about the running back room, I still think they need another running back.
Yes,
100%.
Okay, and now we can move on.
Yep. And who knows? Maybe is Traylon Smith still around? Bring him back.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, Dom Johnson, did he sign anywhere yet?
Yeah, I think he's available.
On Traylon Smith, he's active but not playing football.
Yeah, he's active. All right.
Same. I'm also active and not playing football. Yeah. Who's the name that you said in the beginning that was the freshman last year running back that transferred out? August. Yeah. Where did he? Yeah, Colorado. Okay. I didn't even see if he played this year or not. I completely forgot about him.
Pretty good amount, I would say. He was probably their number 2 back. I watched him a lot. He played.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and going back to because we had other things we'll talk about, but going back to the walk-on element, that's another thing I'm curious about. If that's a thing that why? Because they have scholarships available. Last time I checked, so it makes me wonder. I don't know what's the story behind that. Because if you're AJ Green, wouldn't you? Of course, you'd rather be on scholarship. So were there no other schools that would have given you a scholarship, or do you just want to be a back at Arkansas that badly that you were willing to be a walk-on? I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's that is kind of interesting. Maybe they're doing the Minifield thing where it's like, we got enough NIL to pay your tuition or whatever. There has to be some kind of numbers crunch. Otherwise, there's no way they'd be doing this. It's either that or he's just really not healthy. and that's kind of the compromise there in terms of letting him figure that part of it out. Who knows?
I think when you combine health with the potential position change, because I'm sure maybe AJ made that decision of like, hey, I want to be a defensive back, but maybe there's not schools that are offering him a scholarship to do that, especially coming off of an injury, and especially a school in the SEC, by the way. That's another thing where, you know, you can get a scholarship a lot of places potentially, but like, I'm sure, I think he probably wanted to go somewhere he's familiar with, somewhere that's a high level where it's like, hey, maybe I can make it happen at the SEC level playing defensive back. And Arkansas is probably the only school offering him that specific opportunity.
Yeah. And also his coach is not here anymore, as we know, the running backs coach that he had, Jimmy Smith. So now he's going to be moving over. And also that's another thing too, not the biggest deal, but that next coach that they're going to hire, is it going to be another cornerbacks coach after Darren Wilson left? Still haven't heard any movement on that. And I feel like that's something they want to get, going here pretty quickly. But maybe not. Maybe not. So
they got a guy back there, like with Woodson, they can manage until they find the right hire. Probably they definitely need him before spring ball though.
Mm-hmm. I'm serious. I want Hudson Clark to be the guy. They need to hire him.
Are we sure AJ Green's not the guy? Is that what's happening here? Has he been hired as a defensive backs coach and maybe just Richard missed the mark? No, you don't think that's what happened?
Yeah. And so that's why he's a walk-on, is because they're paying him a salary off the coaching staff.
This is like a game of telephone where it's like one person whispered it and now it's gotten all the way across to us and we're like, AJ Green, defensive backs coach.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows you, man. Sam Pittman's over here. Everybody's playing checkers. He's playing chess. He's ahead of the game there.